What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and today we are going to be going over the top 15 best European vehicles for under 5,000 doubloons. Recently, we're really close to hitting 15K, so I decided to make a whole new sub-series of top 15s of under different price ranges. I've always done top 10s. Everybody's always done top 10s. Nobody ever does top 15s. Why? Because they're lame. And why is Mark about to do it? Because he's not lame and he's a baller. So subscribe to the channel if you're also a baller. Anyway, guys, if you want to support the channel any more than you already are, head on over to www.smoothstance.com/shop to pick yourself up a hat, shirt, or shorts. And with all that stuff out of the way, let's get right into the video. Alright, so coming in at number 15 is the BMW 328i E90. This puppy comes with a 3-liter inline-6 that makes only 230 horsepower, but it was available as rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And you may be thinking to yourself, oh, wow, if the E90 is this low on the list, and there's got to be some really great cars in this video. Not really. The reason why I put the E90 so damn low is because it's just not that desirable for numbers of reasons. First of all, this is a 328i. The 328i is kind of like the sad child compared to the 335i. People usually would rather have the 335i. The 328i is more of a daily driver. It's not going to get as much done with a 328i as you would with a 335i. But it still is a good looking car. You can still make these cars look really cool. And these are honestly, I don't understand why people don't drift these more. They're a very good drift platform that's really different from the rest. They're just a short wheelbase BMW that's dirt cheap. Number 14 is the Mercedes E320 W124, and it comes with a 3.2-liter inline-6 that makes 217 horsepower, and it was available in rear-wheel drive. Here's the deal. I've been trying to look a lot more into Mercedes and trying to understand their chassis codes and their numbers, and God, it is the most confusing thing ever. It is, I'm so sorry. The whole W203 and 124 and 781 and 115, it's just so confusing. And then the next part, the E-Class, C-Class, S-Class, it's so confusing. And then they all have different numbers next to them. But I think I got nailed this one on the money. It's the W124. It's a freaking great car. They're really older cars, and so they look very old and they honestly boring stock. But once you start to modify them, they can become a little, those little retro VIP style cars that people go for. That's kind of like what these are. They were only available as an automatic transmission though, so it's definitely not going to be a great race car. And it does have pretty decent horsepower for the time it was made, but nothing crazy. Number 13 is the Audi A4 B7, and that comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 that makes 200 horsepower, and it was all-wheel drive, of course, because it's a freaking Audi, and every single Audi in the world is all-wheel drive. The B7 Audi series is easily one of my favorites. I think second to the B5 only. The B7 is just absolutely amazing. It is such a cool looking car, but you're not going to be able to find an S4 B7 for under $5,000, and because of that, it's kind of, the A4 is nothing really that special. I mean, they are cool cars, and don't get me wrong, you definitely can make an A4 fast, but they're nothing that's going to win any shows, you know what I mean? That's really the S4 that shines there. But like I said before, the B7 is my second favorite because it just looks so good. They also was in my personal opinion, the last great Audi A4 series, 4 class. You Germans, just make your cars so easy to remember. Why do you have to do all these different series and classes and weird chassis codes? It's annoying. But the B7 is a sick car. You can find it under 5K. Great daily driver because they're actually pretty reliable. Number 12 is the Fiat 500. If you ever wanted to drive in an egg, this car is perfect for you. It comes with a 1.4-liter inline-4 that makes only 101 horsepower, and it was front-wheel drive. Yes, we are not talking about the Abarth here because unfortunately you are not going to be able to find an Abarth for under $5,000. You'll only be able to find the base model Fiat 500 for under $5,000. But these cars are extremely lightweight. They have a really weird cult following to them. Personally, I'm gonna make people mad with this. Personally, I hate the Fiat 500, including the Abarth. I don't think it looks good at all. A lot of people say it sounds great. I don't really see it. It's just such a small, ugly looking car to me. But like I said before, there's a cult following behind it, and this is an unbiased list, okay? So the Fiat 500, it's pretty cool. Would I personally pick it over an Audi A4, the Mercedes, or any of the cars on this list? No, not at all. I don't really like it that much, but it's a newer car, so you're gonna have a lot more technology in there. It's, I guess, more reliable. It's the boring one of the bunch. Number 11 is the Volkswagen GTI Mark III. We're back to another banger, all right? That was the only kind of boring car on this list, so cut me some slack. And this puppy comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 that makes only 115 horsepower, and it was front-wheel drive, but this car was built back in the 90s. It's a very old car, and the looks carry it to victory, hands down. I mean, the Mark III GTI is just so sick, and everybody always modifies, you know, the newest generation GTIs, like Mark 6s or Mark 7s or even Mark 8s, but nobody ever like shows love to the old ones. It makes no sense to me. The Mark III is such a retro race car. It is awesome. And since it is a GTI, you already do know that it has all the tuning potential of every GTI out there. And they did make a VR6 version for the Mark III if you have the money to afford that, but you probably won't be able to find that under 5K. So you're just probably going to be able to find the 2-liter turbo, but that's still a plenty cool car. It's not going to win you any races, but it is definitely going to win you some car shows. It is a head turner for sure. I only be able to find an automatic one for under 5K, which is also a bummer, but it looks cool, okay? The car looks freaking sick. You get TikTok clout if you drive it around and you paint it pink or put BBSs on it, then you'll be like the next best thing on TikTok. But besides TikTok fame, it actually is a pretty cool car. It's one of my favorite cars out there, especially for BMWs. I just absolutely love the simple design on it. It's aged so well. Number 9 is the Volvo 240. This is another like cult car where if it's like you either love the Volvo and you spend every waking minute doing research on it, or you're just like, it's all right. And I'm kind of the it's all right kind of guy. But it comes with a 2.3-liter inline-4 that makes 114 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive. Now, obviously, that's a very small number of horsepower, but a lot of Volvo 240s were built and sold. So there was millions of these freaking things driving around on the road out there. Well, not driving anymore, but there was millions sold. And they are dirt cheap. They are the ultimate like beater car. If you just want a car that you can just beat up and learn how to drift on, or just have a blast, just ripping the e-brake around every corner you possibly could, the Volvo 240 is for you. Does it have the most tunable engine? No, it doesn't have the most tunable engine, but you still can tune it and get a little fun juice out of it. Is it like the lightest car on this list? No. Is it the safest car on this list? No. I mean, it was pretty safe for its time, but not anymore. Is it the most relaxing car on this list? No. Is it the best daily driver? No. But it's freaking sick, and it's a Volvo 240, and it's a cult following, and you can beat the crap out of it, and it'll take it. Number 8 is the Mercedes C230K W203. This is what I mean. Just make them easy, Mercedes, all right? Why? Why do you have to do all these weird numbers and letters and stuff? It just confuses the shit out of me, but it's a C-Class. That comes with a 1.8-liter inline-4 that makes 189 horsepower, and the car was rear-wheel drive, which is at least one thing that Mercedes gets right, is that they always make their cars rear-wheel drive, which is awesome. I love rear-wheel drive cars. They'd never add manual transmissions in them because they're Mercedes, and they always make the numbers so damn confusing. It looks like I'm trying to read out a password every time I want to say the car that I'm talking about. But at least they're rear-wheel drive, and they're really comfortable. They're a pretty good daily driver if you have the funds to afford the maintenance costs to it. It's very extremely comfortable to drive around in. Obviously, it's a Mercedes, and it's definitely rowdy. And you know, it gets up there. It gets up there if you want to have a little fun time in these cars. Also, personally, I do like the looks of some Mercedes. Some Mercedes I don't, but this is definitely one of the ones that I do like the looks of. I think it looks pretty good. It's, you know, a modern 2000s car that just works. Number 7 is the Volkswagen Jetta GLI Mark VI. The GLI stands for Good Luck, Isaiah. And it comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 that makes 210 horsepower, and it was front-wheel drive. This is definitely one of the newest cars on this list here, and I'm going to say it right now, it's going to be hard to find these under $5,000. Can it be done? Yeah, it can. I found one a long time ago, not a long time ago. When I was looking for the 350Z, I found one for $3,000, and he just was trying to sell it because he didn't want to have it anymore, and he just wanted it gone for $3,000. So it is possible, but they usually are sitting right above the 5K mark. But do a little negotiating. If you can't find one under 5K, you'll probably get it. And they are just a GTI, but put in a sedan body. So if you like the Mark VI GTIs, but you don't have the money to afford a Mark VI GTI, buy a Volkswagen Jetta GLI Mark VI. It's about the same thing. All right, number 6 is the BMW 328i E36. Everybody's favorite freaking drift car right now, and it comes with a 2.8-liter inline-6 that makes 190 horsepower, and it was available as rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Of course, because it's a BMW. Like I said before, they do that, and I love that. I love when companies do that, because then it gives the boring people their all-wheel drive, and then the fun people get the rear-wheel drive cars, and it's freaking sick. Obviously, the E36 is being eaten up right now. Everybody wants them. Everybody has always wanted them, though. And really, I haven't seen these cars really rise that much in price, to be honest. Like, they have definitely rise, but nothing nearly as bad as, like, an E30, a Miata, or an S13. They kind of, you know, sitting around the 4K mark reasonably for like a nice one. Not nice, but a decent one. And you can easily find them under 4K if you don't really care about the quality of it. But they're obviously, yes, they are an amazing drift car. Probably one of the best first cars to try and drift on. They are pretty reliable, but chances are the one that you're going to buy under 5K won't be. And they're just an absolute blast to like modify and become a car guy with. They are like an enthusiast car, and you're going to have a blast building these things. Number 5 is the Audi TT first generation, and that was like from the years 2000 to 2005, I want to say. I don't know, but it's around that area. It came with a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline 4 that made 180 horsepower, and it was all-wheel drive, of course, because it's a freaking Audi. But this is a turbo Audi for under 5K that looks incredibly sporty. It's pretty freaking sick, man. I like that a lot, all right? A lot of these Audis out there are just stupid money, and they don't look like super sporty. They just look like normal sedans. But the Audi TT, it looks like a race car. It looks like the German 350Z, and I love it. I love everything about it. It's a freaking cool ass car. It's so underrated too. Like, nobody ever talks about the Audi TT. It just doesn't make. Audi as a whole company is pretty underrated in my opinion, but the TT is a massive one. Obviously, yes, I like the looks. How is the engine performance? I'm not exactly sure. It's a freaking Audi, so I would assume it's probably not the best. But then again, they made the A4, which the A4 is very reliable. Usually their sports cars aren't reliable though, so chances are this thing's probably not reliable. Number 4 is the Mini Cooper S R56. It's a Mini. It comes with a 1.6 liter supercharged inline 4 that makes 168 horsepower, and it was front wheel drive, and it is a hatchback because it's a Mini Cooper. Mini Coopers, once again, is kind of like another car. It's like a cult following type of car. It's either you absolutely love a Mini Cooper and you'll only buy Mini Coopers for the rest of your life, or you're impartial on it, and personally I'm impartial on it. I don't really care for them that much. I definitely think they're pretty cool. There's a yellow one in my town that has like an exposed intercooler in the front, and it is rowdy. It gets down, and I like that one a lot. But most of the time they're just kind of kept stock, and that kind of bores me. But then when they're modified, they are really clean cars, and they look really good. One of my favorite hatchbacks for sure. Is the engine performance great? It's not anything insane, but it's definitely good for an inline 4, especially coming from Mini. That's like a really weird company that like never really tried to do anything like that before. And they nailed it, in my opinion. I think the engine performance and what you can get out of it is great, and especially for its price right now, it's amazing. Now, yes, the interior is a little wonky, but who cares? Third place is the Volkswagen GTI Mark IV. Your boy loves the Mark IV GTIs. They come with a 1.8 liter turbocharged inline 4 that makes 174 horsepower, and it was front wheel drive. There are so many 4s in there, it hurts. The Mark IV GTI is just one of my favorite GTIs, probably my favorite GTI, only because of the looks. I'm gonna be honest. I just like the looks of the Mark IV the best. I think it's just so simple, but works so well. These things can look so clean with very, very little things done to them, and I love that about it. They also have the 1.8T, never lose, that whole scenario that they got going on, and it's pretty damn true. I got to drive Zach's 1.8T Mark IV, and that thing was quick. All right, that thing was nuts. It barely did anything to it to make it faster, but it was fast, and they're just like insanely quick little cars, and it's just awesome. They also do have, once again, a cult following. They are a GTI, and so you get to be like a part of something huge if you do own one of these things. And depending on the condition that you get them in, it can be very reliable, but it also can be a nightmare. Second place is the Audi S4 B5. This is the definition of unreliable. It comes with a 2.7 liter twin turbocharged V6 that makes 250 horsepower, and it was all-wheel drive. Now, here's the deal. This is definitely not a like first car. All right, if you're looking at getting an S4 B5 for a first car, stop. Like I said before, they're pretty damn unreliable. I know there's gonna be somebody out there like, I've had my S4 B5 for 10 years, and I'd take it up the Grand Canyon every day for work, and it's fine. I get it. All right, man, you're an exception though. Usually these 2.7 liters, they blow up if you daily drive them all over the place and you're just freaking treating it poorly. You have to really take good care of these cars, but once you do take good care of them, they are an absolute beast. All right, the S4 B5 was so ahead of its time, it's unbelievable. The engine that's in it is incredibly tunable. You can modify the crap out of it. One of the best V6s ever built, in my opinion. People put like quad turbos on these things, and the engine's like, yeah, all right, yummy, give me more. It's just insane. They also look really good. I like a lot of the simple, German cars, and I think the S4 B5 is very simple in that matter. It came with quattro all-wheel drive, so it's a beast off-roading too. Everything about it is great, except for being a daily driver. First place is the BMW 330ci E46. I've said it time and time again. I personally think the E46 is honestly most likely your best bet if you have a budget of $5,000 for under $5,000. $5,000 for under $5,000. Yep, I said that twice. Anyway, it came with a 3-liter inline 6 that made 225 horsepower, and it was available as rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. And the looks aren't really honestly everything in my opinion. I will be honest, I don't think the E46 looks the best out of all the like E-chassis cars. I think the E36, E30 looks better. Honestly, I think even the E92 looks better, but it definitely is a like very, you know, different looking car. Let's say that. But it is just the best in my opinion all around for just like anything that you want to do if you're a car guy right now. It is so cheap right now. It's in that like BMW gray area that every BMW goes through, where like they're sitting at a point where nobody wants them, and so you can buy them for like $2,000, and now in like 4 years from now, people are going to be like, dude, you used to be able to buy an E46 for $2,000, now they're like 6. And they sleeping on them. So don't sleep on them. If you want an E46, buy it now, because they are in their drought. All right, they're in the BMW drought. Every BMW goes through it, and E46 is going through it right now. They're absolutely amazing drift platforms. They're just super cool to drift. They look really good with just simple mods. It's awesome. You can swap like just about any BMW motor that you want into it, and the motor that actually comes in it isn't bad either. Everything about it is great. It is pretty damn reliable in terms of engine wise, but everything else seems to break on them. Subframe issues, coolant issues, but the engine seems okay, so that's good. It's just an amazing car. I love the E46. I think it's great for under $5,000. But that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more. This was a long video. It's probably going to be another like over 15-minute long video. Actually, definitely going to be over 15 minutes long. So I hope you guys stuck to the end and enjoyed every minute of it. I'm going to try and do a couple more like top 15s, but they're not going to be like a everyday thing, because this takes, you know, takes a toll on you. You know, this is a big list. It's harder to do. It's like half the 1.5 times the list of my normal lists. So I don't know what I'm even saying anymore, man. I'm tired. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Das Vidania. Have a nice night.